And this is Ken Kraetzer at the Atlantic City Air Show for Sons of the American Legion Radio. I have a chance to talk with Major Darrick Lee, Public Affairs Officer of the Thunderbirds Air Team. And Major, good to see you out here. Good to see the Thunderbirds back at Atlantic City. Tell us a little bit about the team and the show today.
Oh, Kenneth, we're happy to be here, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to chat with you. I tell you, we're excited to be at Atlantic City. The folks here on the boardwalk are going to see a fantastic show with 6 F-16s flying right over the beach there. It's going to be a great time.
Great, and tell us about the travels of the Thunderbirds, and I know you're based in Las Vegas. What is it like touring the country and internationally doing the show?
I tell you, it's a fun time, Kim, but really it's all about representing people. We travel 220 to 240 days a year representing the American Airmen. If you think about the fact that there are over 700,000 active duty, Guard, Reserve, and Civil Component Airmen that are around the world defending our freedoms, that's what we're doing. It's a fun time. We enjoy doing it, but it's a lot of work to make sure we put on a good show for folks and represent your United States Air Force.
And I understand what the people will see on the beachfront here in Atlantic City today from the Thunderbirds team is representative of what you might do in military maneuvers. Just tell us a little bit about some of the maneuvers that they'll do, that people see today.
Well, I tell you, the F-16 is a fantastic aircraft. It can go 1,500 miles an hour. We're not going to take it that fast today, but what you're actually seeing is a representation of American combat power in that F-16 multi-role fighter. You're going to see the 6 F-16s come across in one formation, flying as close as 3 feet to 18 inches apart there. You're going to see some maximum turns, experience some high Gs as you're watching them flying through the sky. And for the folks that are out over there by the 177th fighter wing, you'll also see those maintainers putting those pilots in the air and safely getting those jets off the ground. But the important thing to remember is the Thunderbirds are airmen. Airmen first and airmen always, and we're representing your Air Force doing this today.
Absolutely. What does it take to be a pilot on the Thunderbird team? I'm sure it's an extraordinary amount of experience in the Air Force and flying for our country.
Well, I tell you, it takes a lot more than just the desire. It takes a will. It takes a desire to serve. Now, of course, we've got 8 pilots on the Thunderbirds team, but there are 130 Thunderbirds total. But, of course, schooling is important so you can get a commission and earn one through the United States Air Force and then apply for a pilot slot. But aside from the fantastic job that they do flying, putting on a show to represent airmen in general is what it's all about.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the pilots and some of the pilots that we'll see fly today.
Sure. So Thunderbird 1 is our commander and leader, Greg Mosley. He's always at the front of that formation. To the left and right of him, you have our left wing and right wing pilots. Below them, the slot pilot. Thunderbirds 1 through 4 make up what we call the diamond formation, and they like to soar majestically through the air and put on a fantastic show. But then our opposing and lead solos do the high-speed cat and mouse chases that you'll see to kind of get the crowd energized. And I have a feeling that if you're not careful, you might be surprised by a couple of sneak passes today.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the maintainers, the people who work to make sure these airplanes can fly properly and safely. What are some of the roles that have to be done just so the Thunderbirds can fly every day?
Think about their flight equipment. Think about their ejection seats. Think about their harnesses. Think about their helmets. Think about the engines and checking those blades to make sure that they're safe to go. That F-16 is a fantastic multi-role fighter, but we want to make sure each and every time that we're putting up 6 safe jets and bringing 6 safe jets down, and that takes a whole crew of maintenance folks, airmen, to make that happen. Think about the logistics behind that, the administration, support personnel, and public affairs folks to bring this show to the people. It's a huge team effort, and we're happy to do it.
Absolutely, and you're out here representing every level of the Air Force, the pilots, the officers, all the folks who maintain planes and work around the world. What is it like just to know you're representing the whole Air Force?
It's a tremendous honor, Kenneth, I tell you, because a lot of folks simply don't know what our Air Force can do if they've never served or they've never had anyone in their family that served. If you think about the fact that we don't have a draft anymore, when people see this Thunderbird uniform, the first thing they ask is, oh, wow, who are those guys? Let me go talk to them. And we're happy to say, hey, we're your United States Air Force. So right here at Show Center, you're seeing our communications folks get set up so we can communicate with the pilots as they come through. And when we're seeing those folks cheering for the jets coming over, we're hoping that people are feeling some pride in their U.S. Air Force.
Absolutely. And just tell us a little bit about where you're from and your career in the Air Force.
Now, I am Thunderbird 12. I'm the public affairs officer. I've been in the military for about 22 years. 10 of that as a Marine Corps combat cameraman before I switched over and got my commission. But I help bring the Air Force to the people by helping out with broadcasters, journalists, doing media interviews, etc. I have a team of folks that help me create the public affairs materials that we put on, and then we do exactly what we're doing now, which is talk to folks about the Air Force here.
Major Darrick Lee, thank you for all that you do and all the Thunderbirds do in representing the Air Force and our country. Great to see you here at the Atlantic City Air Show.
Hey, thank you, Kenneth, so much. And for folks that are listening today and want to follow through, please follow the Thunderbirds at afthunderbirds.com.
Absolutely. Best wishes, and we'll look forward to a great show today. It's Ken Kraetzer at the Atlantic City Air Show.